it's sort of more of a pattern where it's just violent storms, you know. So
yeah,
you get that searing heat, then just go into the cycle of stifling humidities, and you know, then a storm again the next day, and you know, on and on it goes. So anyway,
yeah, but you know, at least there's some relief, even if you have a storm of the rain, you know, but the air here gets drier and drier and drier with months and months of no rain.
yeah.
You know, it's quite hectic.
Mm.
It's,
So what you been up to?
been making up stories. And you?
Storytelling. Well, that's what you said that you wanted to do. So it's good to see you doing that.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it. So tell me about you, and what have you been up to since you told me what you did last week?
Still working on the book. I've sort of been getting a few props and stuff ready because I need to take quite a few photos to sort of illustrate stuff. So I haven't done that yet, but I've been gathering props to sit down and have a big photo shoot at some point.
Right.
And I've also been working on a Christmas present for one of my granddaughters. So her mother asked me if I could build her. She's into martial arts, so she does karate. And as they progress through each of the levels, they get a different coloured belt.
Right.
So she's got 12 belts. So what her mother asked me is if I could build as like a display, like as a wall hanging where you can display all the belts.
Right.
And I've put on into it a little bit of an area that if she gets like medals or trophies or stuff like that, that she can also put them on there as well. So.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to hook the belts up. How are they going to just hang vertically?
No, they're mounted horizontally. I'll have to see if I can. I mean, I haven't finished it, but I'll see if I give you a picture to give you an idea of what it might look like. Maybe something like that. So let me just see if I can share this with you. Share it in the bottom here somewhere, don't we? Share screen. There we go.
How old is she?
8 years old.
Wow.
Mm.
That's me.
So. Yeah, where is this?
Well, you could hang it on that.
That's right. Can you see that?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Yeah, so they're...
Oh, you put them across, so they're vertical, they horizontal.
Horizontal, yeah. So they're held on by like an elastic. So I'm building that frame at the moment.
Okay,
so.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. And if she gets medals, are they going to put them at the top?
Yeah, well, you can sort of hang them off the side there, or like the one I've built's a little bit more like kind of across, but it's got this sort of bar out there where you can hang medals off it on the side there. So.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I've been working on.
Put them on the bottom now.
So she's got 12 belts so far. So.
Wow. Goodness me.
And they're all different colours and everything. So it should be quite impressive when it's all done. And hanging on the bedroom wall. So yeah.
Wonder how many she'll have when she's 21.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
You'll have to make a second one for her 11th
Yeah,
birthday.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, but it's good to see her. Like, she takes it really seriously. She does her homework and she practices every day, and
Okay.
so it's good to see that she's got that sort of discipline and keenness to it. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so nice. What's her name?
Sophie,
Sophie.
Sophie, S-O-P-H-I. Yeah,
Sophie.
Sophie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's been a fun project. So yeah,
Hmm.
some about halfway through it, I guess. So
Right. Right. Okay.
yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, yeah.
Once I finish it, I'll take a photo of it for you and send it over to you.
Yeah,
So.
please, you must.
Mm.
And how far now? You say you've finished the content of the book.
Yeah, I'd say probably 95%, because every time I go back and revise it, I change something or add something or delete something. So,
Yeah,
but that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. So
yeah. And have you had quite a lot of inspiration from ChatGPT?
yeah, it's been a really good like sounding board,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, and been really useful. And every time I go on there, you sort of, you know, gives lots of encouragement about, you know, keep going, and
yeah, yeah.
I'm here to help. I'm here to help you. And
And I just love it to bits.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. No, so it's good. It's good. Yeah.
yeah. I've just learned today because I've been struggling for weeks to try and do a vertical video, okay, for it's very vertical videos. It's very popular these days on all the social medias,
Is that like off a phone, like vertically on?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, what I do is I what I was trying to do beforehand was use the phone, which is naturally vertical, and but I couldn't find a way of putting a background in. Okay, so it that was frustrating me for a couple of weeks because I sort of read up. I asked ChatGPT, and he says, "Yeah, no, this CapCut can do it, and there's a free version of that." So I downloaded and tried, and you can see, there is something that says background, okay. But every time I clicked on it or something, it put the image or the color over my face, okay, and behind my head. You know what I mean? And it was frustrating. So today I decided, I can't go on this like this. It's not good for my health. I get so frustrated and stressed. So what I did today was I just sat on the side of my desk looking at, or with the background now would be the back of the front door, and there's a hat hanging up there. So I thought, well, that could be a start. Let me see if that works, because I'd really want to do the whole process, even if it doesn't look too good, which it didn't. At least I could go through the process, and then use the CapCut. And I also had the one I've used for the horizontals, and called what was it? open shot. Anyway, the CapCut was the best. It filled up the whole virtual figure. So what I've got to do now is fathom out how to just add some advantages to the vertical, and so I started and I produced some today.
So where do you want to use it?
They are. I want to use them for less than a minute videos.
Like Instagram style stuff, is it? Or
yeah, Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. Okay, and the idea is to just make people aware that I do these videos, because you can't put a link on Instagram, okay, to YouTube. Okay. But what you can do is Instagram allows you to put a link in your bio, okay, in Instagram. So when I'm doing Instagram shorts, I've got to be able to say, come and watch, Cozy Tales with Grandpa Mike. The link is in the bio.
Okay. Yeah.
You can put the entire story on, which my stories are anything between sort of 9 minutes and 15 minutes.
That's a good size. Yeah.
Sorry?
I said that's a good size video.
Yeah. No, it's young children actually can't take much longer than that. Okay. Once you get sort of into double figures like 10 or 11, you can, but sort of under 10, they just don't have the capacity to stick around. But the interesting thing is, I found out yesterday that I don't have many subscribers at the moment. I think I've got 27 subscribers, but one of them happened to have phoned my wife on. They've been in contact. She's overseas for forever, and it just came up that she follows, and she personally, she's sort of around 20. She listens to every story I produce.
Wow.
As an adult. Yeah. She said she loves my sort of morals or whatever that I put. She loves the images, and she's like, she can't believe the images. Okay. So Sue told her, I use ChatGPT for the images. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's not only for children. I guess some of us adults like stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And there are quite a lot of people. I've been listening to a couple of adult stories. I call them adult stories, but they each little story, and they about 5 to 6 minutes long that I found on YouTube, where like this morning there was a young child that wanted to go and find not a saint, but some sort of guy in the cave, and so the 6-minute story was how he found him and what the master said to him. Okay. And it was all just, you didn't see the master talking, you just saw a couple of pictures of of the little boy, which was also, you could see clearly it was AI created. And so there's quite a lot of these things going on. And YouTube has put them under the category of a podcast because of their length.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. And so I didn't ask for it to go under there. I just upload them, and it puts it there.
Is that because you're putting up like a new chapter every week or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got 2 stories running simultaneously. Well, one is designed for young children, sort of from birth to about 7. Okay. And then the others are, for anybody, obviously, but, for older children who have just started school, perhaps, at primary school.
Mm.
And so that those have proper figures in it. There's not animals talking, and so yeah, I produce at the moment. I do one of each a week.
Yeah.
So 2 stories a week, and now I want to, with this vertical, I want to record a lot of them to entice people to come and listen and watch the.
Yeah, and I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I do it.
And so, how many episodes, how many episodes do you think you'd have in a complete story?
I don't know. I'm constantly thinking of new ideas and titles and things, and I made a list of the type of virtues that children should develop that adults, also sort of appreciate that, and I do it in a very gentle sort of way, and so I've listed about, with the help of chat as well. I don't think I've actually numbered them, but I've probably listed about 20.
Okay.
To people. So I usually take one of those and then give it to chat with a couple of ideas of what I want. And so, we've had an outer space one, we've had an under the water one, we've had a mountain one, and we've had all sorts of things. So, yeah, I'd really enjoy it, Don. I really do.
Yeah.
So how many, I don't know. I just continue, and I wait for an aha moment, and that's how the second one started. I started with Inky Pinky Ponky because those were 3 little characters that my children grew up with. When they were, virtually still in nappies, and they still remember Inky Pinky and Ponky. All those years later. So I just started with that because I've got grandchildren now, and so they put in front of the TV, or they're given a tablet and they watch grandfather telling the story. Okay. So
I think it's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. What I'm going to do now that I've sorted out the vertical video today, I'm going to create a little space. I'm looking where it's going to be. It's to the left of my desk. My desk is facing an enormous big window looking out onto the garden. But I want to create a space here on the left side of my desk, which is the opposite to where the door was that I videoed today, and create bookshelf and put plants there and put gnomes there, and all sorts of sort of stuff up again, and leave it permanently there.
Yeah. And so do you just set the camera up and then get it going and just go and sit in front of it, do you? Is it?
Yeah. What I do is I use a stand,
A tripod, yeah, yeah.
a tripod. Yeah.
Mm.
Put my phone in there,
Mm.
and then I sit pretty close to it. Okay, but it's steady. Okay, and obviously because it's a tripod, and then I put I've got the large screen that I'm using now to talking to you, and I put that right behind the camera.
Mm.
So what I'm doing, I'm now writing possibly 4 shorts or maybe more per day. Just today I did 4, and then I prompt myself. I create the story because it's so short. I've just got some prompts to remind me of what I want to say, and then I say it. Okay.
Yeah, because that's sort of the video piece is something that I haven't yet resolved in my own mind as to how I'm going to do it, especially if I'm trying to demonstrate something.
Yeah.
And it may involve having to have like multiple cameras going at the same time from different angles or something. I don't know, you know, but
yeah. I think well, from just the limited little bit that I've been telling you now, and I've had my son James in South Africa. He does a lot. He does like news bulletins. He goes out and does surfing events and then publishes them and makes short videos from them and so on as well.
Yeah.
And markets it for the people who are organizing it. And so he's got a lot of valuable practical experience with it. And he told me, and that's why I'm going to share with you. He says people really just, unless you're talking about long movies or something like that, people watch 60-second videos, vertical 60 seconds, that that way up.
yeah.
And he said people often also turn off their audio.
Okay. Yeah.
And they just look, they go through and they sit, and that's their entertainment, going through these 66. So you've got to, have a clear shot of what you're doing if you're going to just market it. So people come and watch the main event, like I'm trying to do. I guess you would be trying to do that too. But keep in mind that vertical videos are just they going forward exponentially, the amount of views that they have compared to the horizontal, we used to watching.
Yeah, well, I guess the vertical pretty much would fill a screen, wouldn't it? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fills the whole screen. It's full of a phone. Yes. Yes, it fills the whole screen of a phone, but not of any other device. And so yeah. So I guess you got to decide also, where you're going to expose your public.
Well, then you're right, because there's a few different elements to it. Like I was thinking, like one of my goals is to try and get a couple of Udemy courses up and running. But those videos, they're going to probably be, I don't know, 20 minutes. And invariably you'll be, like I'll be demonstrating something or showing a technique or and that sort of thing. So I just need to think through how that might work. At the moment, I'm kind of thinking that I'll have things set up like on on a bench, and I may well either sit behind the bench or probably sit behind the bench, like on a bar stool or something like that, and that enables me to sort of demonstrate things to the camera rather than standing in front of the bench, or beside it. So
yeah, what Sue does occasionally, she gets set up classes where she demonstrates how to make objects out of paper. And so what she does, she has a tripod with a camera looking down on the side, and then she has the camera on her laptop as well, looking down. And
sort of like an overhead view, is it?
Yeah. And then one that's right in on the detail.
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually haven't watched one of her classes when she's done that, but I know, she.
Yeah, that would be a good way to do it, because that way you've got basically like 3 different angles, haven't you?
Yes, you have. And I think in a case where you're demonstrating something like, paper making articles, like your woodworking as well, I would imagine that you'd need at least 2 cameras.
Yeah.
And that would probably be more than enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, whichever way you go, there's going to be a fair bit of editing involved in it, isn't there? So that's something that I need to brush up on as well. Although I do see, though, that a lot of these editing programs have got a lot of AI built in them now anyway. So they might help with that, perhaps. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't at the moment use AI in my editing programs, or the 2 that I use, OpenShot and CapCut, and because I've already recorded what I've got to record, and I trim that with the editor by myself and decide what to trim, and then both of them allow you to add images. Okay. So you might also decide to do that, like, take a really good photograph at a certain angle, and then add that to, and then the editors allow you to continue talking while you're showing that image.
So do you do your soundtrack once you've got all of the footage down? So do you sort of do your soundtrack over the top of what you've done?
No, because I video. There's obviously there's a soundtrack in the video, and it's a movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, to start off with, a .mow, and then you put in there, and after the editor, you've now got like 5 layers that you can add things to. Okay. So I've got to experiment a little bit more. I've added to some background music, for example, and at the beginning, at the end, some music, and then I've just added images of the characters at the appropriate time in the story.
Yeah.
And then that's another level. Okay. And so you can. I just allow myself to talk over it. You can edit it so that the image comes up and you just carry on talking. But the image is focused. Then you don't see yourself, you see the image.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yes, there are separate programs that will, AI programs that will edit the whole thing. Maybe it's something that I will look at in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like with the video, it's sort of like, in a perfect world, it would be good to have someone controlling the camera,
Sure.
but it's not a perfect world. So.
Yeah, and also, you know, do you? It's really not necessary. I mean, obviously, the person holding it will, will maybe walk around and show it and
Zoom in and zoom out and all that sort of
out,
stuff. Yeah.
uh, and but yeah, I guess.
But I do like the idea of what you're saying is if you have like an area set up and the lighting's right and the background's all good and everything, then you can really focus on doing what you want to do without having to worry about,
Yeah.
what's behind you or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and also you see if you've got even more than two cameras, okay, and if you've got a permanent place, then you could have a camera quite high up looking down on you, and the other one, and then one, and then you've now got through three. Let's assume three cameras. You've got three films, okay, that you now put together on an editor, and you now watch them, and you take a bit from that one, and a bit from that one, and a bit from that one, and it's fun doing that, Don. I've never used multiple cameras, but just the editing process is, and it, because you've retired now, and you want to develop a skill, and that could be also, a hell of a nice skill to work with is editing.
Yeah.
And then you'd be ready to, whether you marketing your book or you marketing your Udemy training, you could have these different cameras. You can have scripts. You can get ChatGPT to give you a script for the Udemy training. It's very good.
It's all those platforms, isn't it? Because like like with Instagram, for example, I mean, I have to confess I don't really understand it that well, so I need to do some homework around how to use that properly. But from what I can see, it's just like little 10 and 15-second videos or stills or something like that. But it's all very visual, though, isn't it? There's not much text involved.
Yeah, it is visual, and you can do hour-long videos on Instagram, okay? And certainly you could do your training on there as well. But no, there is you start always either with a video or you start with an image. Yes, it's visual in that sense. But then you've got a place to write whatever you want to write and as much as you want to write.
Yeah.
Okay. So that when you do an image, then if somebody looks at the image, then the writing comes up next to it. Okay. And then can read that.
So do you upload the photo or the video first and then add the text afterwards too?
Well, it's all in. Yes, it's all in a process. So the first thing you do is you add the image. Okay. And then it says, it gives you the opportunity now to darken or lighten it, and in about 15 different options of color, and get the color. And then there's a little thing that says next, and you go to the next, and then there's a next again and a next again, and then you publish it. Okay. So what I've done up to now, I mean, I'm really don't have a lot of knowledge. What I've told you is the sum total of what I know about Instagram. And, is then I go back and I load a 60-second video, okay, really talking about the image, which is separate, but I include the image in the video as well.
Yeah.
And that's where I say, click on the link, because as I said, it doesn't allow you to put in links. Okay. it's most peculiar. But I did see by accident a day or two ago that there was when you posted something to Facebook. Of course, they're both owned by Meta, and so there was a link on Facebook to share it with Instagram, and I was surprised to see that. So I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know what would be the result. Okay, but it certainly looks like a possibility in the future, because they're the two most looked at apps. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, you know, with a close second comes, or third comes TikTok.
Okay.
And so yeah. And of course, you know, the interesting thing is, you know, the Australian government, as you know, now have banned under 16-year-olds from going onto social media. And it in my mind, it doesn't affect me, okay?
Yep.
Because I'm not really social media in the sense that I'm aiming at parents, you know, because parents have got to, you know, link it. But if they put it onto, it's a movie that they can put onto a tablet, or they can go and link up, and because they approve of it, it doesn't, not allowing the child to go searching. It's not allowing. Yeah. It's just the parents says, there you are. He has a phone, or he has a tablet, or you know, or let's listen to the story together. And so it's not. I don't think it will have an effect on my viewership.
Don't think it will. No, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So you're going to have a book. You're going to have a training course, and what else?
A blog.
Yeah. Now, is that a blog? You know, I went to look at your website. I really hadn't seen it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
That's why I had to ask you last week, what is the name of it? Okay. Because I remember when we were doing stuff, I going back a couple of years, I remember it sort of rung a bell as soon as I saw it. And it looks very neat. Your website looks good. It's simple and neat and attractive. Just had to tell you that. I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've been giving it a bit more attention lately than I had when I was working full time. So yeah. But it's one of those things, you just chip away at it, and it becomes, from my perspective, like a resource thing. And that's the other thing that I want to do, is I want to develop like resource guides. You know, so that's sort of like, okay, if you're interested in doing this, well, these are the things that you'll need, and this is where you can get them. Yeah. Or these are the things that you need, and these are the precautions you might need to take from a health perspective, or you know, just some of those sort of practical sort of information around that. Yeah.
And you were saying last week that also some special like oils or things like that. And you know how they can create the oil.
Yeah, like waxes and polishes and lip balms and leather conditioners and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And just sort of, I've tried to make it practical, but woven through it is a sort of a thread of trying to inspire people as well, so that it's not, yeah, because like, I suppose the motto, like I talked briefly about last week, is sort of this, you know, mastery over technique. So that it really encourages people to think, you know, more deeply about something rather than monkey see, monkey do type stuff. So
yeah.
and also get people to sort of pose questions to themselves. Like as I said, I've used the Plumstead methodology front and center, and I just sort of my goal is to encourage people to get them to ask themselves questions about, okay, well, what am I trying to achieve here? Why do I want to do this? Or, to think things through rather than, I just despair sometimes. Look at some videos on YouTube, or lots of videos on YouTube, and I just think, oh my goodness, like, why? And some so-called reputable, like there's this antique restoration business over in England, and flogging, and I mean flogging, this furniture wax, and he makes claims like, oh, you don't even have to clean the timber, you just pop the wax on over the top of it. It's like, oh my God, like,
you don't do that, do you?
No, well, I mean, cleanliness is like if there's dirt on something, you take the dirt off before you start. It's just like.
I see. You're talking about cleanliness as opposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems to be, in contrast to an idea of mastering something, it seems to be, let's just make this as quickly and, instant gratification. And I was just thinking, oh, well, you might get 15 minutes of instant gratification, but you're going to buy yourself 3 years of dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
But that's just part of the age in which we live. Is people want everything done instantly, don't they? So. And so if someone says, "Oh, you don't even have to clean the timber. Just do this," it's like,
Yeah.
You don't even need to change the oil on your car. Like it'll be fine. Until it's not.
Yeah. It's great that you're going in that direction, it complies with the things that we've been talking about for years.
Well, that's right, and I like the term you used before about like the values and the ethics and the core principles underpinning something. That. People, hopefully, once they've read something or seen something, they can, in their own mind, answer the why.
Yeah.
Why is it important to do this? Oh, well, obviously, if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. Well, if you use these chemicals, then there's all these risks associated with your health.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to point out the obvious in one sense, but do it in such a way that, like you sort of do, is just take people on a journey with the story, So,
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to learn too.
It is, yeah. I definitely agree, yeah. And I've been watching videos on people trying to instruct me on how to use CapCut video editor. And, they all want to rush through it. Okay?
Yeah. And you don't even know why you're doing something. It's just,
it's
this, that.
And all the ones I've been doing had on their title "For Beginners,"
Yeah.
And I watch, and it's just it's like when I've I eventually resorted to ChatGPT, saying, "Please, Chat, just give me what I need to know to get started with this particular video editor."
Yeah.
Sure, Mike, I understand what your needs are. and there it does. There, step one. Let me know when you want the next step. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my type of learning.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even if the video did that and did it in a video, that's fine. You can then stop the video, because I like to get an instruction and I like to apply it.
Mm.
Okay, I don't want to get the whole story and then go back and think, well, what was the first step again? You know?
Yeah, well, actually, it's funny you say that because, like, when I got the laser, you know, and they do it remarkably well. They really do. And even the way the program is written, like, it literally gives you like 4 options, you know, like step 1, you choose this, you know, like if you've chosen your material, yes, I've done that. Okay, well then upload your image. Have you done that? Yes, I've done that, you know. Okay, now you just got to make sure that the laser's positioned properly. Have you done that? Yeah, no, I've done that. And it's like, well, just what they call frame it, which the laser does like a virtual outline of the area. So is everything lined up and where you want it to be? Yes, it is. Okay, press start.
Right, right. It's my type of instruction. Okay.
Yeah,
Definitely. And you know, I don't know. You know, if I had to write a training course or something, you know, I would do something similar to what you've just said. But I would say, right, okay, stop the video now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're on step 2 now, but just stop the video and do step 1. Okay. And that would work for me. So I had to get ChatGPT to do it for me. Okay.
Yeah. But even right at the start, just saying, this is what we're going to do today. You know, this is what you should be able to do at the end of this video. This is what you should be able to do, and this is why you need to do it this way.
Yeah.
And then, okay, got it. So then you're into it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. I've watched some videos, like especially tech-related stuff, and you think, hang on a minute, like I'm still 15 steps back here trying to work out where this darn thing is, you know?
Absolutely. It's and I think, you know, because there's a need for it, particularly with the Joneses and the Blumsteds, I'm sure they'll start producing it like that, you know.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I think, you know, I'm sure there's people out there who, you know, don't want to take the time, and that's fine. Hey, you're not someone I'm targeting, you know.
Yeah, but you know, there's a lot of us baby boomers are getting older, and you know, we never grew up with computers, and
No.
So I'm pretty sure that other people feel the same. You know, my Get Set Up class, I did a class on AI, and the woman said, sort of during the class, absolutely, this is just outrageous. You know, I could never learn to do this, never, ever, ever, ever. And I'm not even going to try. And you've got to take it simply, okay? So you've got to communicate in a way that they can say, oh, I could never do this, but possibly I could do this.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, because I was watching a video earlier today, and particularly about tasks that seem to be familiar, like people seem to be familiar with.
Yeah.
And the comment was made that one of the challenges is what was the example I gave? They said, oh, Kellogg's cornflakes used to have an advertising program years ago to say, you know, taste it again like for the first time. You know, and I think that if someone's sort of kind of familiar with something, you almost have to get them to unlearn it before they can learn it. You know?
Yes.
So,
I think I must have seen that video too. I can remember that. Yeah.
It's true, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
Because we become so conditioned about, oh, well, this is the way it is. It's like, I don't know, you don't need to do that, you know.
Yeah. And Kellogg's is such an old brand.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah. You know, and I think that must have been a challenge they must have been having. The people were so familiar with their breakfast cereal that they didn't even think about it anymore. You know, so
Yeah.
But that's sort of one of the traps in the fast-paced lifestyle, isn't it? You know, with being bombarded left and right.
Big time.
You know, I mean, I don't know about you, but like, even with my emails, you know, I'd get at least, I don't know, 30 to 40 emails a day. Just, you know, like sort of virtually characterize it as spam, you know, like it's, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very strict with myself with that because, you know, you tend to, let's say, like an article or comment on an article or like a video and so on.
Yeah.
And the next minute, you know, AI, you know, let somebody know and you get an email or you get a phone call.
Yeah.
And
well, I just have it's kind of sad, but I just have a policy now that if I don't know who's calling, then I don't answer.
myself. And Sue does the same. We absolutely. And I just had one just prior to you coming in. I had one, and it was coming from some of the east coast of Australia somewhere.
Yeah.
And I probably get it's reduced now probably to about one a day, and then you click, you know, on the phone it says. Gives you an option, can't take your call now. Something you press that, it gives them that message. Okay, it sends that message to the phone, and then you know the message will never go through because it's spam. Okay, so it comes up in your SMSs as couldn't make contact or something. So then you go back and you block that caller number.
Yeah. Well, my phone also comes up sometimes when the phone's ringing. It just comes up with a big message, comes across as suspected spam. Yeah,
occasionally. Yeah. Not often because I think they're getting cleverer now. I find they just ring and it tells you where it's coming from.
Yeah, but you know, it's kind of sad, but it's just the way it is now. That, as I said, if I don't know who's calling. If they want to leave a message, fine. But you know, 99 times out of 100, they never do. So I thought, oh well, couldn't have been that important.
Well, I agree with you. Okay. Yeah. So I'm exactly. They're not in my database of contacts, because then the contact comes up. You know, when it rings, it tells you who it is.
Well, one thing which sort of I kind of think maybe makes it a little bit worse for me is I've had the same phone number for like, I don't know, 30 or 40 years or something. However long we've had mobile phones, I've always had the same phone number, you know.
Right.
So, you know. But as I said, if someone really wants to talk to me, they can leave a message.
Yeah. I don't have an issue with, you know, putting my phone number out there, you know, because there are people that want to phone you, and there's the phone number. So, but if they're not on my contact list, then they can leave a message.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
Yeah.
So, what are you planning for Christmas? Just a quiet one, or are you doing something? Or?
No, yeah, quiet one, definitely. Just, you know, we don't even know whether the family are what they're doing. Okay, because, you know, it's just a sort of a stepdaughter. Okay, that I don't know where he is, and so yeah.
Is Sue working, or is she?
She works full time.
Yeah.
And yeah, she
So the centre's open, what, every day except public holidays or something, isn't it?
Yeah, not open on Christmas, Boxing Day,
Yeah.
but otherwise open, and not open on New Year's Day.
Mm.
But I mean, she's got, I mean, if we wanted to, she could, she has. I mean, about a week ago, she took a week's leave.
Mm.
And I'm pleased about that, because she needs the break, because
Yeah, it's pretty intense, isn't it?
so aggressive and rude and physical and violent. And, you know, it's not like it's in a down market area. It's not. Okay.
Yeah. It's really strange mindset. It's just the aggression in the community and the, I don't know, like the self-entitlement or something. I don't know what it is. It's quite sad, you know. But you know, and it's just little things. I get annoyed at myself too, because like I've got a little local post office, you know, like 5 minutes away from where I live.
And they're closing it down, are they?
No. It's quite a thriving little post office, but it's tiny.
Yeah.
You know, it would be the size of probably your lounge room, you know, if that. But, you know, like, because it's so small and there's so much stuff in there, you know, and I was standing in this sort of queue, and the woman in front of me, and she was looking at this and looking at that. And then the person at the front counter says, "Oh, you know, can I help you?" And she says, "Not yet, I'm still looking at stuff." And I said, "Oh, so can I go around?" "No, you just wait your turn." It's like, oh,
goodness.
Yeah, like, and I just thought, oh. And then I don't say anything, but I just sort of inside I was like, oh, what a bitch, rah, rah, rah. It's like, stop it.
Yes. So what did you reply? I love you too.
No, I just said, oh, no, you know, whatever, off you go. You know,
Yeah.
But the trouble is, though, is you see it, like, you know, someone's putting petrol in their car, and then someone pulls up behind them, and the next thing you know, you've got people shouting at each other, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
And the amount of road rage, and, you know, it's just lots of angry people out there. And it just, I don't know, it just seems to, you know, I can sort of see why kids see that a bit too, like, you know, with a lot of these, like, you even see themed videos where they're talking about Karens, you know, which are, you know, abusive women, typically. They call them a Karen, you know. And they can sit there and they could literally watch hours and hours of this, or there's, you know, there's dash cam videos, which are all about bad driving and bad behaviour and road rage. And you just think, oh, why on earth would you want to watch that? You know, like, fill your head with that rubbish. Like, why? And then go out and act it out.
Yeah. And also you've got a strange program here in Australia that I'd never seen before, and that is taking a film of people watching TV.
Oh, that's, yeah. I wouldn't have. I'd just refuse to watch it. It would be like, why would I want to watch that? You know, like,
it's ridiculous. But it's
watching people watch TV, it's like,
yes.
Oh my goodness.
I'd never seen it before I came here. Oh my goodness me.
It's a real sort of voyeuristic sort of mindset, isn't it? It's really quite peculiar.
Yeah. You know, the one thing that has progressed, you know, and I do watch it from time to time, is the Australian chase.
All right, yeah.
The chaser, where you get people coming there and they answer questions, and then they've got to go against the chaser, and then finally they, as a group, challenge the chaser. So there's a lot of interesting questions, and you know, about 2 or 3 years ago, the questions were reasonably easy. Okay, I can't even answer one now, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I find because I can't really answer them, then what, you know. But that's the chaser. The other one that I do enjoy, because it's not just general knowledge, and that is the 1% Club.
All right. Yeah.
You know, that is like logical type, you know, and you've got to. It's not about what you know at all.
Yeah.
It's how you figure stuff out in life. Okay?
Yeah. So problem solving and observation. And,
yeah. So anyway, it's worthwhile. Maybe that's a good place before we talk more about television.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay. Well, good to catch up, and I look forward to talking to you next week. So.
Yeah, that's great, man. And keep going, eh? Keep going. You're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No, it's getting into it.
Yeah. And so be it. Cheers.
Okay, then. Take care now. Bye now.